Good morning. Welcome to Love Your Garden. I've been contacted by a lady who is starting working on her garden and she wants to plant some roses. So this morning I've come round to help her to plant the roses. She has selected 3 climbing roses, which I've decided I'm going to put them up onto the fence. First thing we're going to do, you have to make sure you've got the things ready to be able to. The first rose, as you can see here, is Arthur Bell. That's a nice yellow rose. And then we've got Peach Malva, that's this one here. And then this is a nice red rose, which is called
Guinea Rose.
Rose Guinea. So I've selected this area here. So you see, that's where I'm actually going to plant. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some fish, blood and bone fertiliser to give the ground a bit of a boost. So all we need to do is spread a little bit of this on the site, and when I'm digging the holes, this fertiliser will go, but we've put some more fertiliser on the area. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to plant Arthur Bell. So what we need to do is to dig a nice hole, so plenty of space to put the roots in and to give the rose a good start. So normally roses are very tolerant to conditions. Right, so the roses are very tolerant, so just make sure when you're going to plant your rose that you're going to give it a good chance. So as you can see, this is the hole is coming quite nicely. So make sure there's going to be plenty of room to plant the roses. And during this summer it will give you a nice flush of roses and something to be. Now the idea what to do is to put the pot in the hole to make sure that there's enough room to plant the rose. So we've got to go a little bit deeper. So we dig some more out. This area is quite some good soil, really. I have to say the soil has been treated with well rotted manure, horse manure. So that's right. So we take that. That's about right, really, because you want this piece here to be level with the soil. So we're going to take the rose. You have to be careful of your hands. I must say this rose hasn't really been,
They're from Harkness roses.
They're from Harkness roses, which I recommended this lady to get. So now I'll take the soil. I'm going to cover it round 3 times to make sure there's plenty. And then the other thing you have to do is to make sure you firm the rose to take the air out. So what you have to do is just go round, press it in. You see now that's bedded that rose in quite nice. So it just needs a little bit more soil around to give it a good start. And if you remember what I told you about, we add some more fertiliser to give the rose a really good start. You can pat it down like this with the rose. Now that rose is perfectly nicely bedded in, and that will fill this space with beautiful roses. And I'm going to show you how we will tie the wire so you can be able to tie the rose into the wire. What I'm going to do is spread this compost around around the rose. That's also going to give it a really good start. It doesn't matter if that goes in there. So you can see how that's going now. And what we're going to do now, we're going to mulch that rose. So if it's dry in the summer, the horse manure will retain the. Now this is some of the horse manure which we collected
From a farm.
from the farm. Yeah. And take this spade. Just put that into there. That looks really nice. That's really good. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a bit of this blood fish and bone. You can buy this from any garden centre. Shrink it round, and then once you've done that, what we're going to do then is just mix it in, and then we're going to give it a nice drink so it settles in quite nicely.
Cool.